All right. If we can bring down our mic just a little bit. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's the student section here. We are live at Autosource on the historic corner of Kapiolani and Ke'iamoku. And the student section is back. It's once a month here. You listening on the radio live or catching it for the first time. Now, in a couple of days, you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. So check that out. Cole Mouseolf is here, and we got a totally packed show today.
A packed house, 6 guests, 6 talented guests, but our first 2 is from the Hawaii football team. Cam Stone and Virdel Edwards. Boys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
I want to start off the show by asking some of the boring questions. Spring ball just finished, had the spring game. Where do you guys feel like the team is at right after spring ball, and where do you guys feel individually where your game is at after spring, Cam?
I think the team improved a lot overall. There's still some things we can work on to perfect our craft, but we've seen a lot of improvements. A lot of guys that probably didn't have a major role step up, kind of pick up where we need them to, and just keep things going. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
How about for you, Virdel?
I think the team is at a good spot as well. I think we're very united in every position group.
Right.
Specifically talking about the DBs, I think that we are merging together as one.
Right.
And like Cam said, there's a lot of room for improvement, but we're still taking the steps necessary to get there.
Right. You know, if football doesn't work out, he's got the pipes. He could be like an announcer.
There you go.
You notice that? You notice that? I mean, I'm thinking, going, oh, I'm jealous already. Jeez.
Yep. So, new season, new faces, especially on the defense side of the ball, on the coaching staff, with new defensive coordinator Dennis Thurman. What can you learn from a coach with that much experience, playing experience and coaching experience, on the defense side of the ball?
Everything. He doesn't just teach us our job. Mm-hmm. He teaches us everything. He helps us understand the defense as a whole, and he keeps it as real as possible. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear at the end of the day. Right. So I can respect him for that, and he's a great coach. He's been fun to be around so far.
Right.
Well, that's good. I mean, you want that. I mean, maybe it doesn't feel good at the time, but that's something that you want is a coach to say, "Let me be real. This is how it is."
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Wow, that's good.
And coming from a staff in Colorado, from Deion Sanders, one of the best cornerbacks of all time, has he brought out any stories? Has he shared any stories about being on the coaching staff with him and implemented any of the strategies or kind of the play style that Deion brought to the game?
Not necessarily. Truth be told, he tells us don't be like Deion. Not too many guys can do that.
Exactly. True. It's probably good advice.
Yeah. I mean, he talks more so. If he talks story, it's about himself. I mean, he was a great player back in the day.
Right.
He's an All-American at USC. I mean, he has a good ability. He played with the Cowboys. He knows a lot. He's done a lot. So.
It's don't be like Deion. Make an open field tackle when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, you got to respect a coach like that. The 2024 football schedule just dropped. UCLA, Washington State, Boise State, some of the teams on the schedule. Virdel, is there a particular game on the schedule that you're most looking forward to this season?
To be honest, I'm excited for all of them, not just one. So I'm just looking forward to the season in general. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
How about you, Cam?
Like V said, I'm looking forward to all of them. But if there was one, it's Sam Houston. Considering that was my first offer out of high school.
Wow.
At the Division I level, and it's back home. It would be played in Texas, so I'll be able to see a few faces I haven't seen in a while.
That's a homecoming for both of you.
Yeah, that's great news. I mean, you could like Sam Houston. See, this is why I didn't sign with you guys when you're like, bam. Oh, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. You guys are both from Texas. Somehow, through different avenues, you end up here at the University of Hawaii. Virdel, what was the process? How did you get here?
So it actually happened through some middle school and high school friends. So Solomon Turner, Riley Wilson, Dayton Tony, they just happened to go to Hawaii before I got there. The transition was It was definitely a transition, just moving from Iowa State, getting here, not having a lot of time. I only had time to take one visit. So as soon as I got here, I was trying to learn the ins and outs, learn about the culture, the identity, but also learn about the coaches and what the team needed, because they gave me, an option to either play corner or safety. And I was like, whatever you guys need, I would do. So it was definitely fun, but it was a little tough just transitioning from Iowa State to come to Hawaii, but it was good. It was a good
now,
transition.
how is it? Everything's comfortable?
Everything's comfortable. Everything's great. Have a lot of family here. Built a lot of relationships here that I'll cherish for a lifetime. So
that is unbelievable. Okay, Cam, what about you? You were in Texas and you went to, did you go to Wyoming right after that?
Yes, sir. Out of high school.
Why Wyoming?
I had a coach there, Jay Rich, great coach. He was with Arizona. He's at Washington now. Great DB coach. And I knew some of the guys that was already with him, and just seeing them and how they looked, I knew that he'd be able to get me right, and that was where I felt most comfortable out of all my other offers.
So you're at Wyoming, and then your coach leaves. Am I doing this? Am I kind of right about this? Your coach leaves, and then you're like, well, I want to enter the transfer portal and go somewhere else, and you come to Hawaii.
Oh, well, actually, Coach Jay Rich ended up leaving before I got there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and then so the reason I entered the portal is because I had a coach that I didn't really feel had me going in an upward direction, and it wasn't all his fault. Yeah. But from a developmental standpoint, I didn't believe I was going in an upward trend.
And so why Hawaii? You enter the transfer portal, and they're like, "Oh, Cam Stone, come to our school." But I mean, there was a lot of talking about your game heading into that. I know in magazines and things like that, they're like, "Hey, this is immediately when you came here, they're like, that's the best player in Hawaii." Not to put any pressure on you, but you were the most known, I guess. So why Hawaii from Wyoming?
Well, when I sat down with Coach Chang, I really believed his vision, and I knew he wasn't in it just for the money. Knowing he was a hometown guy, I knew he was in it for the right reasons, and so I respected that a lot. And at the time, Coach Abe was the corners coach, and that phone call with him, it really opened my eyes. He knew what he was talking about. He was a good guy, and I could get down with that.
Yeah, and think of, where this program has been from before Coach Chang arrived. And I don't want to, go back and beat a dead horse, but I mean, where the program was, it was non-existent. I mean, we had, I don't know how many guys enter the transfer portal because of what happened in the past. And now you've got kind of building this up and the brotherhood movement and everything. It's such a positive thing. And it must be pretty, I don't know if you guys notice that kind of thing, but to be right there in the middle and part of this rebirth of Hawaii football must be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. We don't know the ins and outs of everything that happened, considering I came in at a different era. But just hearing the guys talk, they're really excited where we're going, players and coaches. So it feels pretty good to be a part of this.
Yeah, you're listening to the student section here. You're hearing the voices of Virdel Edwards and Cam Stone. And I'm wondering, Virdel, if I can, too, call you V.
Yes, sir, you can.
All right. All right. Very good. Thank you very much. Hey, you know what? Before it gets too long along in the show, I wanted to remind folks of why we're here. We're kind of here to promote the Autosource Carousel student leasing program. Now, what you basically do is it's this kind of leasing program for full or part-time college students. Kids get a special $299 a month lease plus membership for a vehicle. And the membership covers all the service, maintenance, registration, safety checks, everything. And then if you're going to fly home during a break or something like that, you just drop off the car, suspend the payments, and bring it up again when you come back. So, folks, if you're listening, if you're interested or you have a college student in your family that might be interested, check out the website onthecarousel.com.
As we were talking, I noticed a lot of similarities between the two. From Texas, played high school ball in Texas, 3-star recruits out of high school, transferred from a big-time school, Wyoming and Iowa State. Talk to me about when you guys first came on campus and kind of linked together. Did you guys automatically click because you guys had something in common? What is the relationship that you two have?
I'll say coming in and at the time I came in, V was the leader and still is the leader
Right.
of the room. He took me in and he showed me the ways. There was no hostility.
Hmm.
He helped me fit in right away.
Right.
Yeah, so the bond is definitely there. That's my brother for life. Someone I can count on. He can count on me. So yeah.
And you guys are quite the tandem in the defensive backfield. Is there a particular cornerback duo that you guys kind of compare yourselves to or kind of emulate? And if not, any individual corners you watch right now in the NFL, in college, that you kind of take a piece of their game? Virdel, for you first.
He likes to be called V.
V, my bad.
I would say a duo would probably be Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed.
Okay, wait, who's who though?
I would be Sauce because I'm a little bit longer.
I'll definitely take DJ Reed. He's
Okay.
a great player.
Okay, cool.
Two
Why
great,
is that?
Two great players.
Right, exactly.
Why do you see yourself in them?
Just the body type.
Right.
It's
Okay.
it's also not just Sauce. It's Antonio Cromartie. It's Richard Sherman. Just the longer corners.
Right.
That I pay attention to. Also,
Right.
J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn is somebody that I really look up to. I think his technique, fundamentals, his mentality is
Yeah.
very contagious.
Mhm.
So I cling on to guys like that. So
How about for you, Cam? Anyone in the league?
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan,
Yeah,
so
we're-
I'm gonna say we're Deron Bland and Stephon Gilmore. I'm Gilmore. He's Deron Bland.
He might be Diggs. He might be Diggs now.
Oh yeah.
He might be
I
Diggs.
kind of took the injury and
Yeah,
went
yeah.
with that, but we can go with that too. That sounds good either way it go. But for me, I'd say Jair was really motivational to me, given the size and just how feisty he plays and just his knowledge of the game. It shows.
Right.
He beat guys to the spot just with whether that be film study or him just recognizing, and it kind of helped me try to want to get a better understanding on
Right.
formations and things like that. But that'd be the guy I'd watch the most.
I love his game. He sure can talk. He sure
Yeah.
can talk for sure. I wanted to ask you guys about the counterparts. Your counterparts on the other side of the ball, the receivers, going against them in practice. Pofele, Stephen McBride, Kwali Nishigaya. Talk to me about going against those type of receivers in practice and how better they make you and easier it gets when come game time when you're not facing the caliber of receivers.
Or how
Like
better
we
you
have.
make them.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think it definitely works both ways. But I think we easily have one of the best rooms, if not the best room in the Mountain West
Right.
of receivers. You definitely get quality looks when you're going up against Pofele, Steve, Jonah, Kawali, and all those guys, even Tama. I think it's big. It helps us every day because we see him every day. It makes things easier for us when it comes game time, being able to go up against the best. So
Who's some of the toughest receivers that you
Oh,
guys?
toughest. What do you
have-
mean toughest? Just
Who's the hardest to guard? Who's the hardest to guard when in practice? What receivers? Is it lanky receivers with a lot of speed? Is it shifty receivers, smaller receivers?
personally, I would say I do not have trouble holding. any of them.
I like that answer.
But
That's a Jair answer.
yeah, Stephen McBride
Yeah.
can keep you on your toes when you have to acknowledge your speed. Yep, in his way to change direction into another route. I would definitely give him that. But it's good work with all of them.
Yep. How about you? For you, Virdel?
I would say Jonah Pinoke has some very strong hands.
Oh.
And then Carson Pupunu.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, he's very creative off the release. His hand work, knocking down hands whenever you're trying to jam the receivers.
Yeah.
Also, I would say Tama.
Okay.
Yeah. Tama will sneak up on you. So, yeah.
Ati Malala. Okay.
Since you guys just, and this, I thought of this just now when you were talking about these other players. So spring camp's done, got fall camp coming up. But who are maybe some guys, regardless of position, might be an offensive lineman, might be somebody else. Somebody, maybe there's a little buzz about, in the locker room, like, hey, that guy had a great spring. Look out for that guy. He's an up-and-comer. Anybody come to mind?
I would say DeLeon Freeman. He's
Leon Freeman.
He's a younger corner. It came in. He's probably as feisty as they come. Even the older guys will tell you that. He'll line up. He doesn't care if he could make a play, this or that. He's gonna line up and treat you the same way. He's gonna try to do it to you every rep.
Kind of an attitude you want to have at that position,
most
right?
definitely. Yeah. Most definitely. He's not scared to show it, be vocal, or do anything. But he definitely stuck out to me, and I think he's gonna be really, really good.
Anybody come to your mind?
Jackie Johnson and Tariq Jones.
How's that name? Jackie Johnson
Yes.
again, I'm hearing.
Yes. Jackie is a dog. He's the same person every day. And his work ethic, his intensity, right, I definitely think that he will be a asset to our team for this year and upcoming years. So
very good.
Speaking about other players on the team, I wanted to talk about the quarterback for the team, Braden Shager. He's returning to the University of Hawaii after last year, after entering the transfer portal for a little bit and then coming back. I have to ask, what were you guys' initial thoughts when you heard he was leaving the team and then when he was returning to the program? Cam?
Virdel just had a look on his face.
I keep in contact. I look at their Twitters and stuff, so I need to know.
There was definitely some confusion on my end. I think what I was most mad at is we had a team leadership meeting with the captains the day before he did it.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, and he made himself present there. That was confusing to me. But at the end of the day, I even talked with him throughout the process. He even called me. He had a lot of people in his ear after the season he had. When your agent is in your ear telling you this, that, it's hard as a young kid when someone's promising you all this, and it's more than what you have now. But he didn't want to leave. I know he didn't want to leave. So I mean, he's on the team. He's our QB1. We're gonna ride it out for him.
Yeah, and you know what? I think most people, because sports fans can be jerks, but I think most people kind of got that.
Right.
Whether it was from what you heard on the radio or read in the newspaper and places like that. You kind of got away. I met one of those guys who were representing him at one of the games. Very aggressive. And to be a good agent, I guess you have to be.
Right.
And it should be with an agent. What's best for you, not what's best for the company. So who knows, what's what. But I'm just glad he came back, and I'm glad that everybody kind of said, "Hey, welcome back, brah. You're our guy. We love you."
Yeah. Talk to me about...
Or maybe they didn't say that. They said, come on back.
Talk to me about the new quarterback. We had Micah Alejado on the show earlier in the year. Talk to me about the similarities and differences between Micah's game and Braden's game, because I know one's righty, one's lefty. The ball comes different. But what are you seeing out of both of those guys during spring practices?
I would say a strong arm. Strong.
Really?
Yes.
It doesn't look like it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think he's a young guy that will be really electric once he develops a lot more. And I think he'll get that from watching Braden and also being under Coach Chang's wings, because Coach Chang is an amazing coach, and you can see how the QBs, they gravitate towards him and they take in everything that he's saying. Also, Coach Dan Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of wisdom, and that just reminds me of Coach DT. So, but I would say, Micah, he's definitely an electric young cat, and strong arm would be.
He seems to me like he's got a lot of swagger.
Yes.
From the day one we met him, he just got here. He just got back here, and we're like, okay, this guy's got swagger.
You kind of have to as being the quarterback, right?
But it was in a good way.
Yeah.
It was in a good way. Yeah.
Good confidence.
Very good. All right, last question. Anything else you want to go? Anything you guys want to shout out to anybody listening or watching on YouTube?
As my good friend Sinclair would say, go Bows.
All right, there you go. Thank you. How about I have Virdel Edwards and Cam Stone here at Autosource on the student section. Thanks a lot, you guys, for stopping by. Please go enjoy your Raising Cane's dinner. And speaking of Raising Cane's, they're hosting, along with the Barefoot League, a free keiki football clinic. Now, it's this Sunday at Mililani High School. Registration is full for this one, but, they got like 400 kids there. But I wanted to just bring it up because keep an eye out. Keep your eye on either, stop by Raising Cane's for info or the Barefoot League website because they have other clinics, free clinics for our community coming up. So thank you very much for Raising Cane's for being a part of our community. Back in the student section, we're at Autosource, and this is brought to you by the Autosource Student Leasing Program. OnTheCarousel.com is the place to go to check out all the info. I am really excited because we've got some basketball players. I thought they were going to be like 6'4", like you, Cole, but they're a little tinier. But they're superstars at Marinol High School.
They're better than I was, probably, and better than her brother, Jordan. I would say, but thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
So this makes me
okay,
segment.
For folks that don't know what you're talking about, can you explain this better than Jordan and who is Jordan and all of that?
Yeah, so this is Hailey, Perez, Janelle, Yap. I played basketball with Jordan in 2018, and even prior to that on the Tar Heels club team. And now his little sister is all grown up, and it makes me feel really, really old because she was just a little girl when we were all playing. And now she's a junior at Marinol, and Janelle is a senior at Marinol. Her brother plays for HPU basketball, a little younger than I was.
Okay, so Jordan is the brother, but he's playing professional basketball, and you're sitting here with me.
Yeah, I mean, he plays professional in Australia, so
nice.
He has that going on.
Auntie, oi, oi, oi. Sorry, I get distracted by
my
this.
first question for you, Hailey, is how does it feel to be the only sibling in your family to win a state championship?
It was great.
So that's a dig to the brother again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but he's never even got to a state championship.
Well, congratulations, state champion.
Thank you.
And Janelle, you won also, but your brother Justin won a state championship in 2019.
Yeah, I think it was his freshman year.
His freshman year. Yeah. Did he give you any advice heading into the championship game, or did he give you any words of encouragement?
So I did not play in the championship game, but
in the semifinals, sorry.
Yeah. Well, he was just telling me to be confident and shoot the ball well.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, and this is your first.
I feel like he could have contributed more, but he didn't, huh?
Yeah, he's not a man of words.
This is Marinol's first girls basketball state championship since 1978. What did it mean for both of you guys to bring it home for Marinol?
I know this team we got right now, we worked really hard. We all grew up together, and finally bringing it home to Marinol felt great because we've been in this program for majority of our lives, really. Most of us was here since middle school.
Right.
So it just felt great to finally get one.
Mm-hmm. The team was dominant all season, 24-3 record, 15-game winning streak to end the season. And two of your losses coming to mainland opponents, and then Kamehameha. Do you think this season would have ended the same in the state title game, even if you were playing in Division I, Janelle?
That's kind of hard to say. I think we would put up a good fight against these Division I teams, but I would say that we sort of lack height.
Right.
So it's pretty difficult because teams like Iolani and Cam, they have all these really tall girls, and our team is
are all the same height.
Yeah, we're all about the same height.
How tall is everybody? About 5'3"?
About
from 5 feet
5'2".
to 5
I
feet
think
to
our
5'2".
tallest girl is 5'10",
Okay.
and she's the only one that's that tall.
Yeah, our tallest
That's
guard is
tall, though.
5'5".
In Hawaii, though, you're not playing against 6-footers all the time, right? Even on Campbell and Iolani, if they do have, they have one. And, I mean, you guys play against mainland people in club with Legacy Hoops. Going up in the mainland, that's fantastic practice. And you guys, I'm sure, compete with all the mainland teams, even if they're taller than you, right?
Yeah.
What is it going up to the mainland in those kind of tournaments and competing with those kind of teams? Do you guys handle your business? And do you guys feel like you can compete with those mainland teams?
I would definitely say so. I feel like it's a lot more brutal up there. Like it's more rough, and I think that it kind of gets us going. And I feel like we actually play better up there, to be honest. We're more like scrappy. Yeah, kind of
gritty.
Oh yeah.
So when you go there, Janelle, is it you go when you guys show up at a tournament and they're like, you think people kind of smirk and go, "Who are these little kids?"
Oh,
They
yeah,
definitely
There's this
underestimate.
nice little
Yep.
team.
There's just one team that was like laughing at us before the game, and then we beat them
Whoa.
by
And you
30.
smacked them in the mouth.
They laughed at you.
Yeah.
That's how it always is,
Wow.
though, with Hawaii teams. Even for the boys, even when me and Jordan Perez would go up,
Jordan and I.
they would laugh at us. They would laugh at.
But you're
laugh at us.
6'4".
6'4", skinny white guy. They have
Jordan's-
5 of those on
Jordan's
mainland
about
teams.
6 feet tall, right? He's 5'10". I used to be 5'10".
But my
It was a
point
good
is
time in my life. Anyway, go ahead.
when you're going up and playing in those tournaments and playing those mainland teams, they always underestimate
And
us
they laugh at you.
because we're smaller than everyone.
Wow.
But the Hawaii brand of basketball is much different. We have much more grit, I feel, than those teams and those players in the
Right.
mainland. And like
'Cause
Hailey said, you beat them by 30.
You got to go skin on skin. You go skin on skin, bro. Hawaiian style right there. So they laughed at you after the game. Did you kind of give it back to them, or were you like, hey, that's how we roll? You're still good sports, right?
Did we? I don't think we did. I think we
We're just like, we kept it to ourselves.
Yeah.
But
like,
inside, like, oh, those guys suck.
yeah. We didn't need to say anything.
yeah.
The parents were probably talking smack too. The
Parents
parents talk smack for
talk
us.
more than the kids anyway, right?
Yeah.
We're talking with Janelle Yap and Hailey Perez, basketball superstars at Marinol High School.
In the season, watching you guys play, it was apparent that you guys were around the game at an early age, and you guys were taught well, coached well growing up. Who were some of the bigger influences that got you into the game of basketball when you're younger, and who were kind of your biggest teachers and coaches growing up? Hailey, for you first.
Growing up, I was really always around it, like around my brother. And then because he was in high school while I was younger, I got to see the Marinol girls team play, like Rihanna Mori, Kamalu, Kamaka Viva Ole guys, and I really looked up to them, and like I wanted to experience what they had. And for probably my coaches and like people I look up to, my dad, he's one of
Very good. For the dads.
he's my coach for club, my coach for school. He's always around, and he's like one of my biggest role models. He's always there for me, and same for my brother.
Sweet.
That's awesome. I know he's going to love hearing that. How about for you, Janelle?
I would also have to say my brother and my dad. Growing up, I copied everything my brother did. I did everything he did. We did like karate, football. I followed him doing everything.
Oh, wow.
And then I actually started coming to Marinol because I played a game against him in a summer league at Maryknoll, and Coach Chico approached me, and from then I was just like, yeah, I want to go to this school too. He was already going to the school previously, and I was like, I mean, why not? So yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And that brought up the question I was going to ask is about, do you guys know your coach, Chico Furtado? Does he still wear his thing, his medallion? Really?
I don't think so.
Ask him, go, Coach, where's your medallion? But anyway, you guys probably don't realize what a great basketball player he was back in the day. But because I remember even as a kid in going to Iolani basketball games, and Chico Furtado was the big star. Try Google him and something. You'll find out. It's pretty cool. I just wanted to give him some,
Yeah, you always have to shout out the older players, huh?
Hey.
Your time.
That's how we roll. It's the greatest generation.
There you go, Janelle. You're a senior. What is your plan moving forward in college next year? You want to play basketball? Are you going just for school? What's your plan?
My plan for next year is to just focus on school. I mean, I would have liked to play, but I feel like I didn't, like, I don't know how to say this. I didn't, like, try hard enough to get out there. Like, I wouldn't contact coaches.
Oh.
And by the time I realized that I wanted to, it was, like, kind of late.
Now you have to do it early, sophomore, junior year. Exactly.
Hey, do you know where you want to go to school?
No, not yet.
You know, I mean, you could always get settled at school and go, hey, can I walk on? I like try.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you got to just try.
Hailey, you're a junior. You're going to be a senior next year. How does your role change being a senior and all these senior leaders, I think 3 in the starting lineup, are moving on to college? Does your role change for this team next year?
Honestly, I feel like yes and no, because kind of from last year and playing on varsity as a freshman, being the point guard, I was kind of calling everything, telling what to do, where to go, and just having that leadership role. And then going into next year, I think I'm still gonna be have that leadership role. I just gotta show maturity as well and show that I've grown as a player. Yeah.
Last question.
My last question, I think this is a good one. I wanted to talk about women's college basketball right now.
Or women's college basketball.
Women's college basketball. Did I say women's?
That's
women's?
okay.
It's kind of taking the national media, sports media, by storm. It might even be more popular than the men's game right now. I wanted to ask about players like Caitlin Clark, Paige Buchers, Angel Reese, and how they're changing the game. And do you guys kind of look up to players like that? Or
literally they look up.
Yeah, but to emulate your game after them. Who are some of the players that you guys like in the women's college game?
I enjoy watching Caitlin Clark play, but I would say that my game is very different from hers.
Right.
I would like to be able to emulate her, but I'd say I'm more of a spot-up shooter.
Right.
Whereas she can create and do all this.
Exactly.
But yeah.
How about for you, Hailey?
Growing up also, I always used to watch Paige Beckers a lot. I remember sometimes, my brother or my dad, they would text me and they would send me her film and they would tell me to study her.
Right.
And that just got me on what she was doing, where she was going. I've always just watched her since middle school and looked up to her.
There's so much talent in the women's game right now, for
Very
sure.
good. Well, gosh, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I see you have your Raising Canes. Thank you very much. How about a hand, Janelle and Hailey, coming here at Autosource. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming down.
Thank you very
Good luck
much.
in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Hey, we're here at Autosource, right here on the corner of Kapiolani and Ke'iamoku, and we invite you to check out all of the great automobiles here, and especially if you're a college student or there's one in your family, you got to check out their student leasing program. Basically, it's a $299 a month lease plus a membership, and you get the car. It comes with all the servicing, maintenance, registration, safety checks. Basically, you just put gas in it and get to class. And if you have to go away, you can halt the payments and pick them up when you return. Like, say you're going home on summer vacation or something like that. Check out the website. It's a great deal. A lot of people are talking about it. OnTheCarousel.com is the place to find out more. We'll be right back with some big stud basketball players from St. Louis School coming up next on the student section on ESPN Honolulu. At Autosource, our Marinol girls are leaving. They've got homework to do. They're very dedicated to school, very dedicated, and that's how they roll. Thank you again to Cam Stone and Virdel Edwards for stopping by, Janelle Yap and Hailey Perez also from Marinol. And Cole, please introduce these next manly guests from St. Louis School.
Yes, 3-time state champs, Pupu Sepulona.
3 times. Wow.
And Shancin Revuelto. I can't believe I'm saying that. Boys, thank you for joining the show.
All right. Thank you guys for coming.
This is kind of a full circle moment for me because just last year, I interviewed you guys for another show we were doing on ESPN Honolulu. And you guys just came off of your second state title. Now I'm talking to you this year, and you guys won 3 state titles. How did this state title stack up to the previous 2? Was it more difficult than previous years, Shancin?
I mean, yeah. First off, losing our coach and going back to Punahou.
Right.
That was big for all of us.
Uh-huh.
But him coming back was, we knew that we could do it again, and we did it.
Yeah. How about for you, Pupu? Was it more difficult this year?
I feel like this year, like I had to change up some stuff from last year. I knew that everybody knew what we were running, everybody knew our scheme, so I just had to find my open players, and a lot of my teammates made big impacts this season. They played their roles, they executed, and they did their parts. And I feel like this season was just a team win, and we put it up. We pulled it off.
You know, there's
by
a lot
winning
of
the state
times in
championship.
these situations, it's like you have a star player comes out of nowhere, and Jeremy Lin comes to mind.
Right.
All of a sudden, no one just, well, who is this guy? And then people adjust to Jeremy Lin, and you never see him again. Aaron Judge came out of nowhere for the Yankees, belting home runs. Pitchers kind of adjusted to him. What the good ones do and good teams do, like St. Louis, is you adjust to the adjustments. Would you say that was fair this year?
I feel like, yeah, we adjusted a lot. Even though at the beginning we didn't start that well, but what matters is how we ended, and that's how we did this season by winning the state championship. I feel like our starting lineups was very good. That's what we had to find. Me, Shancin, Caitlin, Stone, and Jordan. I feel like that was the big five for us to win ILH and state championship.
Right.
So
Right. And throughout the year, it wasn't all highs like we were alluding to. Losing early in the season to UH Lab and dropping.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, and I think we covered that game. And dropping a few in league play to Marinol a couple times and Punahou. But talk about the resilience of this team, fighting through that adversity. Losing is not something you're accustomed to, but you guys came out. You won a string of games, and you ultimately won your third straight championship. So how did you guys battle back from that in-season adversity?
I mean, we could have just, after those 2 losses against Marinol and Punahou, we could have just hung our heads and said, oh, this season's over. But we stuck it out, and we did what we had to do at the end.
And no shame, losing that university team was really good.
They're
too.
really good. They had some.
I mean,
really,
you guys.
really
It's
good
not like
players.
you guys play in a tough division. I mean, every game is just
It's a battle.
It is a total battle.
yes, sir.
Yep. And so you guys won 3 straight championships, and you're only juniors. You guys have the chance.
Oh, wow! Awesome.
They have the chance to win 4 state titles.
Wow!
And-
You're putting the pressure on now.
And only one school in the history of Hawaii high school boys basketball has won at least 4 straight state championships, and that was the Iolani teams in the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
They won 5 straight.
Was
So-
that Derek Lowe?
It wasn't Derek Lowe.
Oh, it wasn't. He wasn't
Wait,
there. Had
it
to
might have been. It was part
Okay.
of Derek Lowe.
Okay,
Derek
sorry.
Lowe. I'm sorry. Yes, and Kyle Pape. But I'm not putting any pressure on you guys. But what would what would a 4th state title mean to you, Boo Boo?
That would be a blessing. Winning 4 will mean a lot to St. Louis. I feel like a lot of people in the state of Hawaii think that St. Louis is just a football school, but winning 4th will just end the debate that we're not just a football school, but we're also a basketball school.
Yeah, and then Dan Hale will be chasing the Cal Lee record as far as state championships in a row. I know it's a different sport, but
That's incredible. That will cement you guys into Hawaii high school boys basketball if you guys aren't already. We think of like the NBA, right? You have the Warrior dynasty and stuff like that. When we're going to think about Hawaii basketball, we're going to think about this St. Louis dynasty.
Crusader
led by
dynasty.
Pupu and Shancin. And you guys are just great and a fun team to watch all year. Even though you guys beat on my Punahou Buff and Blue a lot. But it's okay because you guys are my friends. You guys are cool. Pupu, I wanted to talk about you. You're now a 2-time Gatorade State Player of the Year. And you have the chance to win a 3rd next season. Yeah. My fellow ESPN Honolulu colleague, Derek Lowe, is the only other Hawaii player to win the award 3 times.
Wow.
I know I'm putting a lot on you right now, but what does it mean to you to even be mentioned with who many regard as one of the best Hawaii high school basketball players
He's
ever?
kind of regarded as the best ever.
Yeah, I just wanted to be nice.
Back in the day, Daryl Gabriel was a very good basketball player, but there's nobody. We haven't seen anybody like Derek Lowe.
But what does it even mean to you to be mentioned in the same sentence and name as Derek Lowe?
It means a lot, being named with a lot of the greats, like Derek Lowe being a 3-time state champion, but also being a 2-time state champion is such a blessing. First and foremost, I just want to thank God because only him can do that.
Amen.
He can make the impossible really happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, like being 2-time state champion is, it means a lot to me because just being a kid from Kalihi, going through ups and downs, going through adversity throughout my high school career, and just trying to be successful, being great. And plus, it's going back to my mindset. I always wanted to be great, make my family proud because they work hard for me. So this two-time Player of the Year goes out to the people that make so much sacrifices for me, and that is my mom and dad. So
There you go.
That's
How about
awesome.
I just give
That's
all the
awesome.
credit to all of them.
That's
and
awesome.
Give the credit to God
That's
first and foremost. So yeah.
Were you guys growing up? Was basketball? Let's start with you, Shancin. Did you love basketball? Was it your favorite sport? You're like, oh, I can't get enough. You can't keep me off the basketball court. Was it that? Or I remember we talked on this radio program with Melanie McBee from the University of Hawaii, and she's like, yeah, my mom forced me to play basketball. I wanted to play soccer, but they forced me to play basketball. Did you always have a love for basketball, or was there another sport that you wanted to pursue?
I mean, I played football when I was like younger, so playing basketball in my high school and intermediate years. It was such a blessing. I looked up to my brother. He's the one that got me into this playing basketball. So I got.
What about you, Pupu?
Well, when I was young, my first sport was actually baseball. That was my first love. So I think when I was like 4 years old, I started baseball. I played with him at Moanalua Pell League. So, we knew each other since we were young.
Okay. We were a part of that league growing
Yes.
up, our family.
Yes, sir. And I think around 6 years old, when I touched the basketball, then it was it.
Wow.
Like I quit baseball and then I just focused on basketball. And from there and out, like I just fell in love with the game. I loved it. I played it every single day at my stomping grounds, Kalakau courts, and I started to get better. And from there, 6 years old to year after year, I started to love it, and here I am.
And you know what? It's indoors.
That's
too.
incredible.
It's indoors.
Talking about Kalakaua. Kalakaua. That's a throwback. I used to go to Kalakaua clinics every Sunday when I was a kid. Wow.
Oh, Dennis.
Agena.
Agena, yeah.
Agena, Coach
yeah.
Agena.
Yeah.
We're talking about you guys playing as kids. Shancin, did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that you would have 3 state championships and this much success this early into your basketball career?
I mean, no. Winning my second one was surprising.
Right.
We were all young, and we knew that after winning, we could win a third one.
That's awesome. And I'm sure it's bragging rights now that you won a third with your brother. Did your brother won?
Just one.
Do we have to take a break? We have to take a break. Okay. We're going to take a break and come back with more of the student section. That's on the way here from Autosource Carousel, right here in the showroom. If you were listening earlier, we had some alarms going off, some people starting up a motorcycle and things like that. It's live radio. But thank you to Autosource Carousel. Check out their student leasing program at onthecarousel.com. Also, one of our sponsors at Raising Cane's, March is National Reading Month, and Raising Cane's is teaming up with Hawaii Comedy Festival for a bunch of events called Read to Me. It's at different Raising Cane's locations. Now, if you were listening on the radio, they've got one coming up this Saturday at Raising Cane's in Kapolei. If you're watching on YouTube, it probably passed already. But on March 23rd, they'll be at Raising Cane's Mililani. And on March 30th, Read to Me for the Keiki at Raising Cane's Pearl City. Definitely check it out. We'll be right back with more from the student section on ESPN Honolulu. In the student section here at Autosource. Thank you, guys. Thank you to our lovely studio audience here. There's a man in the front that's not clapping very loud. He's a soft clapper, more of a golf clapper. But anyway, we appreciate everyone's enthusiasm, and lots of the family is here. I just met Pupu's mom; she's very nice, and all of Shancin's family, including some cousins and first and second cousins and stuff. There's about 9 of them here.
In the break, Pupu, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. We were talking about your dance moves after your second and third championships. You busted out some pretty good dance moves, some impressive dance moves. Where do you learn these dance moves from?
I learned those dance moves from doing TikTok. So
do you have a TikTok account?
Yes, I do.
Shout that out.
It's,
Shout that out.
Yeah. Follow me on TikTok. My TikTok act is Constantine777 _ Yeah. It's pretty long, so it might be hard to find. Take a while.
And
Why
on,
wouldn't you just call it Pupu?
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted a name to be fancy for my
Okay.
TikTok.
Well, Pupu's fancy, but anyway.
and on your TikTok page, do you do dances like that? Can they see? Can the audience see dances like that on the TikTok?
Oh yes, yeah. There's many TikTok, many different moves, just being like fancy, having that swag. with
Okay.
you, so.
Can you give us I'm trying to picture what this looks like.
Oh.
If you could just kind of do something
you
for
wanna
us.
do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But just make sure, don't pop that. Leave the headphones
Okay.
on.
I got you.
Because
Okay.
a young Miss Bantalina was doing some dance moves.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So I was like,
All right,
Oh.
let's see it.
Oh,
Let's
he's
see
not
it.
shy. I love it.
Let's see how this goes.
so I'll be like cross hand like that, and then move my leg like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I go like cross.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, and then like shit,
Yeah.
like that. So,
I love it. I love it. Let's go.
yeah, something different.
For you guys on the radio, you got to wait till this is on YouTube in a couple of
Exactly.
days and
That's right.
check that out. Very good. You definitely, as I've been told, you have the juice, Pupu.
That's like the swag, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shancin,
Shanton, can you do a
Yeah,
little
this-
dance for us?
No.
Not interested. Is your brother a good dancer? Yeah? Oh, he's not a good
No.
dancer, little brother says. All right. Well,
All right.
even more so, we want to see him dance now.
I love it. Pupu, thank you for showcasing your
yeah.
dance
Yes,
moves.
sir.
Let's get back to basketball. On the show that I was alluding to before last year, Pupu, you said you're a LeBron fan, and Shancin is an MJ fan. Watching those players, and Shancin, I don't know if you watched, I don't know you didn't watch it live, but watching the highlights, do you guys take any of those players' play styles or mentalities and bring it into your own game, Shancin?
I would say mentality. MJ was just he didn't care who was in front of him or what he did on the court. So that's what I do when I play.
Yep. How about for you, Pupu? How about
Me, one thing I take from LeBron's game is his unselfishness. He's a passer first before scoring the ball, and just recently he just made 40K. So that's a big time accomplishment from LeBron James. And also I love his game too. He can score from 3 levels, finishing, shooting the mid range, and shooting threes, and he can literally do everything. And I feel like he may not be like the best player other than Michael Jordan, but I believe that he's the best playmaker. So he gets his team involved. He gets everybody better around him, and overall he's just a great basketball player.
How did you feel about Space Jam?
Oh, Space Jam? I didn't watch it with LeBron James.
you're not missing anything. I love LeBron, but that movie was made for kids.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but we are out of time. Shancin, Pupu, thank you very much for stopping by. Cole, great job as always. How about a hand for all of our guests this morning? We'll be back next month here on the student section on ESPN Honolulu.